Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale right here in Abuja. A lot was said today, and when you hear or see Olusegun Obasanjo, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Kade Fayemi, Meka Ihede are all in the same room, and Adolphus Wahabara, I mean, name them, they were all under the same roof in one place in Abuja today, and the conversation on Nigeria's democracy. And guess who was the keynote speaker? It was Bishop Matthew Kuka. It was just a very interesting conversation about where we are as a people and our journey and our democratic journey as they discussed today. I'll be bringing you soundbite and discussion and conversation about it will be happening. Where we are at under Tinubu government, derailing, are we moving backwards or forward? This is a conversation that will come up on our program tonight. Stick around with me. The president also is promising that there will be 5 million jobs for Nigerian youth, and there will also be about 7 million opportunities for training for Nigerian youth. That is what the Tinubu government is promising. How real is this? We'll be dissecting and troubleshooting what this agenda is under this government. But everyone, let's stand by for your political roundup stories.
Some groups under the aegis of concerned Kogi youths have submitted a letter of protest to the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, asking the electoral umpire to formally begin the process of recalling the senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Spokesperson for the groups, Charity Omole, who addressed journalists after submitting the letter, revealed that the groups have over 50% of registered voters from Kogi Central who are ready to ensure a recall, as the senatorial district cannot be left without representation at the National Assembly for the next 6 months.
The entire people of Kogi Central have lost confidence in her because of her gross misconduct in the Senate that led us to a 6-month suspension where Kogi Central will not be represented.
The Independent National Election INEC has received the petition seeking the recall process of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan as Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Secretary to the Commission, Mrs. Rose Anthony, received the petition on behalf of the Commission in Abuja. After receiving the petition, Mrs. Anthony emphasized that the Commission, as an institution established by law, will adhere to the due process outlined by the Constitution regarding the recall process. Meanwhile, the Chairman of the National Independent Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the late Professor Humphrey Nwosu presided over what is now generally acclaimed as the best elections in Nigeria's history on June 12, 1993. Speaking at a special event organized by INEC to celebrate the late Humphrey Nwosu, Professor Yakubu recalled that the actors behind the unfortunate June 12 episode, including the ones who annulled the elections after Professor Nwosu had announced the results, have been celebrated and immortalized in different ways, except for the man who delivered a near-perfect national election. He called on the federal government to immediately immortalize Professor Nwosu for his contributions to democracy and the electoral process in Nigeria.
It was organized by a commission made up of commissioners and a chairman. If it was an oversight that Professor Nwosu was not honored in his lifetime, it is never late for the appropriate authority to do so for him.
Lastly, some supporters of the suspended governor of Rivers State under the aegis of Simplify movement have been reacting to the declaration of a state of emergency by President Bola Tinubu and the suspension of the governor of the state. At the media briefing in Port Harcourt, the state capital, the group's national leader, Mr. Sobomabo Jackridge, condemned the president's decision, calling it unconstitutional, noting that removing an elected governor and appointing unelected officials undermines democracy.
We want to state unequivocally that Mr. President was unfair to Governor Fubara or may not have been properly briefed.
Thank you so much, everyone. There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup story. So let me bring you to Abuja, and the nation's capital. And the conversation was about Nigeria's democracy. One of those conversations for me, highly intellectual, and the delivery of Bishop Matthew Kuka, who was the keynote speaker, got me thinking about where we are, especially when we compare ourselves with countries like America, and perhaps how much do we know about how America got to where it is today and the founding fathers of what they describe as democracy. Now, where do we go from here? Olusegun Obasanjo, a former president, says that democracy in Africa has failed because it does not align with the continent's values, culture, and way of life. It was all of them were speaking at the 60th birthday colloquium of Emeka Ihedioha, a former governor of Imo State and former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, where Obasanjo questioned whether Africa was practicing true democracy or merely adopting Western liberal democracy. First, let me allow you to listen to the keynote speaker. It was Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, the bishop of the Sokoto Diocese of the Catholic Church.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. And among these are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is that by whichever way you spell it, in whichever language, the central basis and tool for legitimating democracy, why we have chosen democracy, is like Churchill said. Churchill said democracy is the worst form of government except for others. Because others have been tested, they've been tried, but they've been found wanting, because only democracy entitles citizens to be able to pursue happiness. How they define that happiness, how they aggregate that happiness is purely up to them. And then to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, when a government becomes destructive to the principles that have been initiated, it is the right of the people to alter and to abolish it and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing powers in such form as to them shall most likely be the effect of safety and happiness.
One of perhaps the luckiest people in Nigeria, he was the first person that had two shot at being a leader of this country, either in Kaki or in Babariga, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. This is how he spoke about Nigeria's democracy. Take a listen to him.
Democracy is meant to be a system of government that delivers, and delivers to all the people, not just a section of the people, not just a few. But what do we have today? I believe since we gone past the Greek democracy, which brought everybody to the square, and everybody has a say in the decision making, which affects everybody, or which affected everybody. Democracy has now become representative democracy. And representative democracy has not taken care of everybody. Today we have democracy, which is government of the people, of small number of people, by a small number of people, over large number of people.
That's a description of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, there were different people who spoke at the event, and there was also a panel session which a former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, was one of the speakers at the panel session. Let me allow you to listen to what Mr. Obi said about Nigeria's democracy.
No country in the past 3 years conducted election had less than 30% of registered voters participate in the election, and they held it. Everyone was go and check from South Africa to Mexico to Indonesia. They were not less than 60%. Nigeria was 23% of registered voters. In that 23%, Nigeria is the only country where you can be declared a winner without receiving 50% plus one of the vote. Our own was 37%. and there's no proportional representation, which is why you can have opposition here. Because if you had that, what is said wouldn't have happened. Because the person there now have 37% of the vote, call it 40. In the Senate would have had 44 members. PDP, with their leader, would have had about 34 members, and Labour would have had 24. In fact, we should have actually formed government. You cannot have a minority person sitting in government with everything, chasing everybody out, destroying everything. We must change it and have proportional representation so that they give us the That is how it works.
Interesting debate and conversation about our democracy. But then let's hear of how the people feel about this. So I'm being joined tonight by one of the leaders of a major opposition force in Nigeria, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Alhaji Shehu Gabam. He's live for us here in our studio. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight on the program, Alhaji Gabam. How do you describe our democracy? You heard different views from different three personalities as we are being able to extract from that colloquium, but there are different people who spoke. But how do you describe, considering what you see today?
First of all, let me thank you for inviting me. Secondly, let me thank your management for giving me tea to break my fast.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful
in the spirit of Ramadan.
And I'm sure, if you could remember vividly, your opening remark yesterday, was quite solid, very fundamental to who we are as a nation. We have abandoned our values, our principles, and the foundations of democracy that we cherish as a copycat of presidential system of democracy. Extraying what the leader have said, from Martin Kuka to President Obasanjo to Peter Obi and a host of others, if you also listen to what former President Jonathan have said, it's extremely, very, very painful that a journey that started innocently, where people left military administration, came together, formed a movement that led to the formation of political parties in 1988 to 1989, have never thought that we would drill to this point that we are today. The entire philosophy is to entrenching our democratic culture, our democratic system, a sense of belonging, a participatory democracy of every Nigerian, irrespective of tribe or religion. I was part of that founding member. I know the wisdom, I know the philosophy behind the founding fathers of the party. Some of them paid supreme price. They were sent to prison. But today, nobody remembers them. And the entire characteristics that define democracy is no longer in existence. A nation that every day wakes up with killings, maimings, barbarism, kidnappings, insecurity, hunger, and poverty contradict every definition of democracy all over the world. A nation that will wake up, its citizens cannot afford to feed itself 2 or twice a day, have contradicted the entire definition and responsibility of democracy. Now, all this has been directed at the presidency. The president is aware. We have mentioned it. We have appealed, make corrections, make adjustments. But it appears that the president have lost the sight of the fact that he was part of this journey at a point. He was on exile at a point that the nation is struggling and fighting to restore democracy. Today, he happened to be a president of Nigeria by an act of destiny. And everything that he was looking for is available in Nigeria. There are most brilliant, most intelligent people that would have guided, generate ideas how to drive the process. They were all sidelined, including political parties that ought to have provided a buffer. Because we are talking about a country after election. Once you are sworn in, your responsibility is how to move the country forward. None was put into consideration. And of course, what remains is what we are seeing today, the kind of balkanization of the system, the kind of destruction we are seeing in a nation where we have a democracy guided by law, we have a constitution, you have a leadership of a nation that will go outside the rule of law, outside the constitution, and make a pronouncement that is creating a very hot atmosphere that we are facing today as a nation. I feel sad about it because I invested all my life in the democracy, fighting for democracy, restoration of democracy. And we feel ashamed that we are at the crossroads where you cannot fault former President Obasanjo by virtue of his experience, being in the military, elected president. President Jonathan compressed and condensed his submission. You cannot fault it. I've also listened to Wole Soyinka, very precise to the point. What are we talking about? Can the president believe that all these people are wrong? Can he believe that all of us are wrong? Can he believe that the media institutions that are custodian with some information and intelligence of what is going on in the country are also wrong by advising him? Unfortunately, we are a nation where so much sycophants have taken over the system. There's virtually no realists. What you have are theories-oriented people who will come out with policies or ideas that are not realistic, and they are pushing it forward. Otherwise, you cannot have crisis 2 years into government that is almost collapsing the entire system.
Let me ask you specifically, so that we can speak to the issues in a more specific manner. The democracy that we run, and everyone that becomes Nigeria's president seems to have won the toga of being the face of Nigeria's democracy, because swearing to the constitution means that you are upholding the tenets and the pillars of our democracy.
Absolutely.
And from what you are describing, I'd like to know in specific and direct terms, what is democracy under the Tinubu government? How would you describe it?
Well, let me say that, look, in every democracy, not just Bola, is about the safety of life and properties of Nigerians. If you take the statistics of what is going on, you know that the government have failed in terms of providing law and order in the country.
How do you say that?
How do I say that? Are you aware of the number of insecurity going on around the country? I'm sure you are aware. Even last week or so, the kind of people were kidnapped, people were killed, people were maimed. Now, yes, there are areas that you can say there are improvements. The number of kidnappings have dropped, but it has not stopped. Now, in a nation that cannot fit its own citizens, you are talking about democracy here, that cannot fit its own citizens, what position are they taking in terms of defining their own government? In a nation where you cannot get justice, where the judiciary deliver judgment based on what they think is right, not based on reality and facts available to them, to which the president lays as a foundation to the decision you have taken in River State, because it's mentioned about the Supreme Court judgment as it relates to River State. Now, in a nation where the judiciary is not living up to the standard of Nigerians, in a nation where you have the strongest arm of government, the National Assembly, is not living to the expectation of Nigerians, they go outside their own rules in conducting their business without reading and understanding the implication to the nation, then I think virtually every factor that you are looking for, you are shopping for anywhere in any shopping mall that define democracy have been violated.
Under the Tinubu government?
Under the Tinubu government. That is the reality we are facing. Not to talk of human rights abused, not to talk of intimidation and harassment.
Would it be fair? Would it be fair? I mean, when you describe this government, which we say they're making effort in correcting the ills of the past, and some of the things that are ongoing in the country, according to this government, will say we did not. This is how we met it, and we are trying to fix things. They will say there have been foundations that have been wrought with a lot of missteps over the years, and they are trying to correct it, and it will take a lot of pains to correct. Are you going to put all of those blames on this government that is less than 2 years old?
Sure, there's nothing like that. There is nothing like that in governance. Governance is about continuity. President Bola Tinubu is aware of the rotten situation or the rotten system he have inherited. He promised to fix them. He campaigns on them. And at the point he said that if I do not provide electricity to all Nigerians within 4 years, don't vote for me again, which means that he understood clearly what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve, what are the deliverables. He have analyzed them. He has come to the conclusion that he will solve the problem. Now, one of the things he inherited is insecurity. There's no doubt about it. It's not just him. Even the other administration inherited that. In 1999, there was such a report that there will be pocket of crisis across the 6 geopolitical zones. So every president that came into office got security report and intelligence of what the country is going through. So what we expected is that the president would prioritize what he wants to achieve. The first thing he did was removing the subsidy. In the nation that was already enveloped by poverty, by insecurity, by rascality, by lack of deterrence, and then subsidy was removed. Now the entire...
Which was a campaign promise by most of the presidential candidates at the time.
No, they did not say they will remove it 100%. This is not the first time subsidy was removed. Every president that understands the dynamics and the peculiarities of his own country knows that you cannot go all the hog and remove it completely. You have to do it bit by bit so that you feel the pulse of the people, of the citizens.
You seem to be describing Nigeria as though Nigeria is derailing under this government.
Not just under this government. My fear is that he inherited a system that was derailing. My expectation that he will stop the derailing. That was my expectation. I've always said that my expectation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he will perform much, much better than even former President Muhammad Buhari. I said severally here on air. I have nothing against him as a president, but I have everything against the policy that they are pursuing that have no human face, that doesn't recognize the dignity of the citizens.
Which are these policies?
One, I have mentioned it maybe for the sake of repetition. The protection of life and properties of Nigerians.
Would you say that security is worse off right now than about 2 years ago before this government came into office?
What is the improvement from what you know? Do we have improvement in the agricultural culture that is related to insecurity? Farmers cannot go to farm?
What about the Northwest? Hasn't things improved?
In what areas? It depends where you are talking about in the Northwest.
Talking banditry?
You are talking about, which area? In Katsina State, there's still banditry going on. In Zamfara, there's still banditry going on. Part of Kebbi, there's still banditry going on. Part of Sokoto, there's still banditry going on. You can minus Kano, you can minus Jigawa states in the 7 South, Northwest states. But in all these states where you have banditry that have been entrenched, it has been reduced, but it's still constituting...
So in your own assessment, Alhaji Gabam, this government, how would you describe them in terms of focus and the purpose and the performance of promise being made during the campaign? How would you describe them in their journey to achieving that?
I have said that before. What the president likes is a team. Governance is not about individualism. It's not about monopoly. It's not about
cabinet and the team is put together.
It's not like about monopoly of knowledge and wisdom. It's about, that is why there's a division of labor in governance. The president needs a team that understands the peculiarities of Nigeria. There's a history, there's an archives where we were going right, where we are going wrong.
But he has a cabinet.
Well, I don't know about the cabinet. If the cabinet are up to date with the reality of Nigerians, with what Nigerians are facing. You can imagine the youth corporate have turned into controversy. She was crying on the screen. She cannot afford to buy a crate of egg, and the thing have gone viral. She was being threatened. Is that democracy? Is that freedom of expression as enshrined in our constitution? The NYSC and an institution threatening her? Do they know what she goes through? These are millions of people that are dying in silence. Go to the hospitals. Please spare time and go to the hospitals. People cannot pay their bills. They are dying because of sicknesses. There's no attention. If you take somebody who needs adequate attention in the hospital, once you take him to the hospital, the protocol associated to admitting him, he will die before he's been admitted in the hospital.
Let me ask you, is that one of the reasons why your party has suddenly become the beautiful bride to most of the politicians and those who are aggrieved in the APC? I saw that a picture surfaced of you and Mrs. Binani having a meeting. Is that about also crossing from the APC to the PDP, just like Nasiru El-Rufai?
No, my responsibility as leader of the party is to consult as much as possible. I'm not going to disclose those that I'm consulting. It is within my own strategy to give everybody his own respect, his own due. In due course, we'll cross the bridge. But we are on consultation. We are on reaching out to people that will create the impact, that will change the society, and make sure that we have a great country. So the consultation is ongoing.
I'm almost going to be believing now, if I see anybody take a picture with you, that they're likely to cross to the SDP. The last time I asked you about Nasiru El-Rufai, you said it was a consultation. Now, the picture with you and Ms. Binani give me a sense that if history of a very short one at that would be right, Ms. Binani might be on our way to the SDP.
Well, I don't want to make an issue, but let me tell you this. Virtually every day, we receive the campees into SDP. Every state of the federation, including today. I received some today in my office. These are dignitaries. If you Google, you will see there are over 300 resignation letters from VIP. Some of them were senators, some of them were ministers that are joining the party. So it's not about just one individual.
What are they telling you about the APC that they are jumping from?
Well, some of them are not really APC. Some of them belong to other political parties. Like the ones I received, they belong to about 4 political parties.
Well, talk about the ones that we know that are prominent. We'll talk about Nasiru El-Rufai. We'll talk about Mrs. Binani, who was the APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State. In just a recent election, less than 2 years ago.
Binani have not joined SDP.
No, but I mean, I just made the reference to the fact that the last time I saw a picture with you and Nasiru El-Rufai, it was consultation. This time around, Binani with you and the picture that surfaced, I mean, maybe in another week or so, we might be seeing her joining the SDP.
Well, if you follow the Nasiru trajectory in APC, he said that APC left him. Okay? APC have left him a long time ago. And he made up his mind also to leave. And of course, I'm a leader of a political party. I'm to provide base for every politician, irrespective of dissent. That is why we have multiple political parties registered by law. And we are not antagonistic to to this present government. We did not create their own problem.
But you want this government out of power. You want to unseat
I'm a leader of a
Tinubu.
Political party.
That's your agenda.
My mission is to take over the government as a leader of a political party. What else is my mission?
And you are working hard to do
The mission
that.
of APC is to retain power.
Are you still using...
The mission of PDP is to take over government. PDP was in government for 16 years. So what is wrong with what I'm doing? I'm doing it within the ambit of the law.
Are you retaining your presidential candidate from the last election?
He was our former presidential candidate. We have not conducted presidential primaries. INEC have not released timetable for the presidential primaries. So I don't know where the issues is coming from.
But in some instance, it will be an opportunity of first refuser asking him whether he's going to be interested. Because there are now, when you have the likes of Nasiru El-Rufai, there are those who will be thinking maybe there will be reconsideration as to who then will be the leader and the face of your party.
Look, we have not discussed that. That have not come to discussion at all. And I wouldn't want to go into this.
Is your party going to be the vehicle for the coalition that they're talking about?
It's not about one-man decision. It's not about chairman decision.
Is your party the face of, or going to be the coalition for that a lot of people have been mouthing?
We are ready for that. We have our own code of conduct. And that is why we told everyone, anyone who is willing to join SDP should go and join as individual in his ward, in his local government, in his states, so that we can build a party that will look like ANC of South Africa, where the party is spring, like NPN and so.
You've worked with Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, I did.
Is he coming to your party too?
Well, I won't get there until we get there.
I saw some of your colleagues in the SDP who were seated with Atiku Abubakar at a press conference. And there are those who were saying that maybe, just maybe, SDP might be the vehicle to be used against, a major vehicle used against the APC in 2027.
Look, let me tell you.
Is that the ultimate agenda?
SDP is an excellent political party, it's an excellent platform for any career politician and anybody who wants to join politics. We make sure we'll abide by the rules. We make sure we are very strict. We make sure also there's deterrence. Nobody is indispensable as far as the party is concerned. Once you breach the law will take its course. There must be a discipline in the political party. So what I'm saying is that the party is open to any genuine Nigerian who want to join the party and aspire to any position. The moment you register as a member of the party, you can contest from councillor to the president. There's no restriction at all. Unless we are in a situation where waiver is needed, the party will sit down and consider giving waiver.
Can we consider and take it to the bank that your party is the coalition force that a lot of people have been talking about? Is that for a fact?
Well, you know, there are a lot of groupings, meetings going on. I'm not part of those groupings. I'm not part of those coalitions meeting that is going on.
Will your party form a coalition with other political parties?
I am a chairman of a political party. I'm not supposed to be part of all these group discussions going on because they have their own conflicting interests embedded in those meetings that are going on. But the moment they made up their mind, this is their decision, they want to join SDP, SDP will welcome them 100%.
But your SDP is not ready for coalition.
What do you mean by coalition? Coalition
when
is
political parties come together and form a force.
Yes, they can form a force and join as members of SDP without any precondition. Because the moment you start giving condition, there is a recipe for crisis. And it's the crisis we are avoiding. We are running away from the crisis because every movement has its own virus. So if you don't have a strong antidote to those viruses, you better maintain the status quo, make sure that you pilot the affairs of the party up to the point of elections or primaries, where people will be properly elected without interference of the judiciary, and so on and so forth. Because these days, functions of parties have been taken by judiciary. Functions of INEC have been also taken by judiciary. So we have to be very careful how we navigate through this difficult period that we are in our democratic journey.
Let me ask you, is your party of the philosophy that the rotational principle, unwritten principle that is, that power should be retained in the South?
Well, thank you, you said unwritten. Yes, you know, we had that case up to the Supreme Court, the case of Donald Duke versus Professor Jerry Garner. Rotation is an internal understanding of a political party. It's not a constitutional thing. If the stakeholders at the appropriate time sit down and agree that let us zone this to this particular zone, we'll abide by it. We are Democrat. We will not force our way all through. Our expectation is that is to provide a clean slate for every Nigerian to aspire to whatever position he wants to aspire to.
What role will Nasir El-Rufai be playing in your party? Since he is now...
Nasir El-Rufai is an asset. And you know better than that. He's a workaholic. And we believe that he will add value to SDP, not just him. Others that are coming will add great value to SDP. We don't have monopoly of knowledge and wisdom. We need people with extra capacity to add value to what we are doing. And no party knows it all. When you have a convergence of assets, of people that believe in the future of Nigeria, believe in the supremacy of the institution, that can punish people, that can create deterrence, that can create opening, then you have a party that you can be proud of. You cannot have a party that have manifesto and you elect the president and will start implementing his own personal agenda. The manifesto of the party is also supreme. And anything outside that, the party cannot stand the test of time.
Let me ask you quickly. You know President Bola Tinubu.
Yes, I do.
And there are those who will say it's probably one of the smartest political strategies that this nation has seen in the Fourth Republic. Does it come to your mind that it takes a lot to be able to displace him, politically speaking, in the political game in Nigeria?
President Bola Tinubu is an individual, he's a Nigerian. Well, Nigeria have produced a lot of talents, brilliant people as leaders of the country, both in military and in civilian administration. And also, to cap up what I've said, what I'm going to say is that, look, President Jonathan invested heavily to return to power. And he has some of the brilliant people in his cabinet. But because of some missing steps, he lost the election. Anyone can lose the election. It's not about individual strategy. If there's brilliancy, if there's efficacy in power, they wouldn't have been making the mistake they are making today. So it's left for individual analysis and perception.
So you have...
We believe that there are surplus of talents untapped in Nigeria that can provide leadership in Nigeria. No individual have monopoly or quality of leadership that is not available anywhere else.
So you think you can beat Bola Tinubu to this game?
Not that I think. As a party, my strategy is to beat APC and to uproot them from power.
And you think that can be easy?
It's very possible. You forgot that PDP was in power for 16 years. APC went and packaged what they need to package at that time because PDP refused to do the right thing. And they dislodged PDP 16 years in office. And you're talking about somebody who is in office for 2 years? There's no need for comparison. The feelings you need to take the pulse of the country.
Let me ask you on a final note. What do we expect? Because I am hearing that there is a lot that is brewing and a lot of conversation with political heavyweights in the country. And there are things that Nigerians should be expecting in the coming days that are heavy politically.
Naturally, we are facing election. As politicians, we don't operate with guns. Our guns is our thumb. And we'll apply it when the time comes. If government is doing the needful, probably there will be no need for such thing. If they were listening to feelings of Nigerians and free consultation services being offered, probably they might be lucky.
From your own end, the game is up for them.
I think it is. And I've said it the last time, I did not mix words. Jonathan lost election 2 years before the election. Go and take the statistics. And they have not done as worse as what is going on today. He lost the election 2 years before election. And from what is going on, the disconnection in the system, the lack of listening, the intimidation and harassment. I have mentioned to you here, as an opposition leader, my mobile police were withdrawn. I'm the only one. They withdraw my security. 3 months now. I have appealed to the IG, have not listened to it. So what can I do as an individual that you withdraw my security that I'm entitled to? Not only entitled to, I applied. Now, if you see me as a threat, when I wasn't a threat to you, when I was offering free consultation services, and we have friends, very, very close friends in this government that are turning against us, seeing us as enemies, using the instrument of their office to intimidate us. Some of us are well-trained progressive. We are not cowards. If you use instrument of intimidation, you will lose us completely.
Wow.
You will lose us completely.
All right.
You can't intimidate anyone.
Yeah.
Let Remy went to prison. It's bravery that took him to prison. It's not cowardness. We are product of guts. And we'll stand anyone who will challenge our integrity. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Nobody will claim to have monopoly of Nigeria. And we have seen it in the third time. We have seen it, Nigeria have demonstrated capacity that nobody will crush them and they will not, it will go unchallenged.
Alaje Shehu Gabam, the national chairman of the SDP. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
A great pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We take care of everyone. When we return, the Minister of Youth Development, Ms. Ayodele Olawande, is next as our guest on the program. The promise of the 5 million digital jobs, which has been launched today at a platform to train and to equip Nigerian youths, gets our attention. After this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to a conversation now. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, today launched the Nigerian Youth Academy, NIA, a digital platform that aims to train 7 million Nigerian youth and create 5 million jobs. The Vice President represented President Bola Tinubu at an event held in the council chamber of the presidential villa in Abuja. He says the initiative is designed to bridge skill gaps and reduce youth unemployment in the country. According to him, education should not be limited to textbooks, but must build bridges between learning and doing, between tradition and innovation, and between local wisdom and global knowledge. Take a listen to the Vice President.
We cannot guarantee the security of our human capital unless we create a robust, skills-driven learning environment. We have also made significant strides in our human capital development agenda. Programs like the 3 million technical talent-free MTT initiative, the Skill of Artisans program SUPA, and the investment in digital and creative enterprises IDIs. Our interventions designed for this purpose. The establishment of the Nigeria Education Loan for NELPON has broken down financial barriers to higher education for young Nigerians. This is our dream for you. Yet we must acknowledge the challenges that persist. Nigeria's human capital index ranking remains below its potential, with youth unemployment and learning poverty presenting critical barriers to progress. These statistics are just not numbers. They reflect lives disrupted, dreams deferred, and futures left uncertain. The Nigerian Youth Academy is our commitment to changing this narrative.
The ministry under which this platform is domiciled is the Ministry of Youth Development. And the Minister of Youth Development, Mr. Ayodele Olawande, is live for us here in our studio. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
The President promised 1 million digital jobs. Is it one of these promises? Is it part of the NIA, or is it just a separate idea?
It's part of it. It's one of those things that we see that we look at it. What is the major problem? And that is why we said we are open. And this is, NIA is not just about government. It's a partnership of everybody. The ministry, when I became the Minister of Youth, before I was Minister of State for Youth, and I looked at it, I was in over 28 states, not in the state capitals, but everywhere, local government and all that. And I see that we have even diversity in whatever we want. What they need in Borno is different from what they need in Sokoto. what they need in Sokoto is different from what they need in the southeast or probably south or southwest. Even in Ondo State where I come from, what they need in the south is different from what they need in the central. So I looked at it and I put it together. And during this tour, I saw a large numbers of young people, more than 100 in an hope. Maybe I should put it like that, and hope. And fine, they were part of the obedience. They don't believe in what we are saying. They don't even want to listen to us. And I told them, I'm young. I'm just 30-something years old. I'm not even up to 35 years old. And this is me. I'm the Minister of State, and this and that. And we started talking. They did not listen to me. After like over 7 hours, they said, okay, I think that's Savita. And they said, okay, let's even listen to him. What do you have in your brain? You know, Gen Zs, everybody can say whatever they like and all that. And I said, okay, I'm a minister. We can sit together. We can talk. We can discuss. We discussed to a length, and they said, fine. The major problem, they are working. They are doing fine. They were doing whatever they want to do. But the major problem is that, do we have the prerequisite skills, even for the job market that we have now? I said, okay, if we don't, I said we have. Some don't have, some have. Some leave the schools. We have, after NYC, they believe that they just need to get a job. And they couldn't get the job. And that's not how they want to get a job. Because the skills that they are looking for, they don't have it. They only have a certificate. And after that, I went ahead to go and call for a larger meeting in Lagos of the private sector, the investors and all that. And I asked them, what is even the problem? That is immediately when I become minister, because I've had those knowledge when I was Minister of State. So I said, what is the problem? Can we sit down? Can we talk about how unemployment can be? Because I believe that civil servants cannot do all. Government cannot employ everybody as civil servants. Some people must be in the creative section. Some people must be in the sporting sector. Some people must be in the agricultural sector. Some people must, and we have brilliant, wonderful young people in it everywhere. Is it that we are lacking the gap of skills? Is it that some have a skill? So I put this meeting up. And after doing the meeting, I discovered that what they are saying, even the people in the private sector, is that it's not about the certificate. It's about what skill can you even put to our own company? So
that experience that you had.
It is what that transformed to NIA now.
Yeah. So give us an understanding, because I'm hearing.
So it's a plan of a people.
Okay.
It's a plan of a young people, not only the plan of one person. It is comprises of when people come together and said, fine, 1 youth, 2 skills. That a youth in this country, in the next 2 years, it's just 2 years plan, must have at least 2 skills. And when you get these 2 skills, you will be open to a digital community. Because I also discovered that we have 2 types of young people. We have the formal young people, which all of us concentrate on a lot. Those that go to school, those are some of us that can speak English, some of us can speak phonemes and all that. Those are the formal youth. We have large numbers of the youth. Even the 70% of the populations that everybody is saying, Nigerian youth is the 70% of the population of the country. The 70%, majority of them are hawkers, they are artisans, they are learning, they are this, they don't have access to education, they are in the local areas, rural areas. So we have large numbers of them. So we divided into 2. We have the platform for NIA, and we still have a platform that is called normal community, whereby you partner with the state government, because there is no how a country can survive with the numbers of the young people without partnership with everybody.
So this NIA that you created and launched today is a digital platform, isn't it?
It's of 2 ways, and that was what I was explaining.
So they have a
platform, they have a training, and when you get trained, we open you to the digital community, the platform that you can go there. Those people that need those that have been trained, we come for you. We partner with different people, NNPC Foundation, banks that are available for us that do business and to also create impacts in youth. We partner with NCDIB, we partner with NIXIM, we partner with a lot of people to train, even in different types of skills that we can do. So it's not all about government. It's not that the money is coming from the government.
So let's break it down, Minister. So 7 million people are supposed to be trained.
Yes, to get trained.
For how long?
For just 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yes.
And 5 million people are supposed to be employed.
Get gainful employment, neither in digital way. And that's why I want to explain the informal side that I was talking about the other time. The informal side is that we, as a Ministry of Youth, we want to partner with all state government, development agency. Because when I get to when I get to that position of minister in October, I discovered that in 2024 only, 2024 budget only, we have 896 youth initiative. You can imagine if I'm sitting down here and I'm reading initiative of government 1, 2, 3, 4, I got to 500, you would have told me to stop. So that was what also prompted me, that I even want to know this initiative. I want to know where they are. I want to know where they put it and how it's being done. And that is why I go directly. The president appoints SA on youth, on delivery and monitoring, and I pick her up. This is a joint work. And that is why I'm calling on every other person that have this brain. It's not, I heard that they said that knowledge is not once. And this, what the government is doing. This is what we are doing in the youth ministry. Let everybody bring this knowledge on the table. Let us save our country. So this former youth, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
This former youth, this former youth are also important. And that is where the NIA ambassador came up. So that some people will not have access to digital. Some people may not be able to operate the phone. Some people may not be able to do this and this and that. So we partner with Smedan, we partner with NDE, we partner with some banks again, and all that state government. Go down to the local area. We want to have a greenhouse. We want to have this greenhouse in 774 local governments, which by next week is going to start.
Greenhouse farming.
Not greenhouse farming. We just call it a greenhouse because I think the color of Nigeria is greenhouse.
Okay.
So we pick it as a greenhouse. And I'm not talking about building. I'm not talking about anything. No. I'm talking about we have 774 local government. We have secretariats. They can't use all these offices. We are begging, and that's why we are partnering. Give us one of it. We have NDEs that are working in Ministry of Labor and Productivity. We have Smedan, we have Nasenin. We have a lot of all these government agencies and parastatals that have the youth initiatives and their this thing. We have Ministry of Agriculture. We have different industries, World Bank. So today you can see that we have the US ambassador is with us, the Qatar, the India, how they do it. And that is what we're copying up and said, see, we have the instrument. We have the National Youth Service Corps that are in 774 local government in this country. Probably most of those local government.
So let's get it. I want anyone who is watching tonight, because when I hear jobs, because I know a lot of people who send me messages and say, I'm looking for a job. Please give me money. Help me. And when I hear there's an opportunity, the first thing I'm trying to do is to help to educate people on how to get those jobs. So there are informal and formal jobs that are going to be available. Yeah. The jobs are not immediate until after the training has happened.
Sure.
It
happens today.
Okay.
When we put this platform up, it has been on for 8 months. And we just said, okay, let's do a test run so that we don't put things out and people start complaining that this and this. We want to even see how much people we can train and how they can catch up. Those that can, and like I said, we approached the bank and said, see, we want them to have a startup. We asked them, is this startup that you need to do this training, to get up this training that you had? You have the knowledge, you have everything you can do? And they said yes. And that is why you see that the Providence Bank is also supporting this agenda.
So is there a website that anyone can...
NIA, just press NIA, you will see the website.
NIYA.com.
Just press it, .gov.ng.
.gov.ng.
Yes.
So then you apply.
It's open.
If you apply, then you have to wait.
They will give you a code. It will be opened. When it opens, when you give you a code, you are just like you are getting a Nigerian Coursera. The way it works, just like you are in a Coursera. And I'm saying that this is a Nigerian Coursera. And again, you will be trained in whatever language you want. There's different languages there.
Okay. Because so it's a training platform. But it's on digital platform.
It's a training platform. It's online.
If we at nia.gov.ng. So when people are trained for a period of, are they going to be paid during this training period or not?
No, it's online. It's online. You trade online.
So when
those that are informal ones.
So if you pass, what is the criteria for you to be able to get a job? Because the end goal is to get a job.
The digital community.
Okay.
Not only training and learning and this, no. You're still going to open to the digital community. The digital community, and those are for the informal youth, and for some formal youth, and for some informal youth that can still pick up to that platform. But if you cannot, the greenhouse is opened. Go there. We are partnering with the government. We are partnering with everybody. Come and tell us what you want to do. Not what we have for you.
So it's live now. The website is live. People can go there now.
Yeah, it has been live.
When is the deadline for the application?
No, there's no deadline. It's live. It's continuous.
Oh, it's continuous.
It's continuous.
So when will the 5 million jobs that you promised, when will it be active?
As immediate as you are done, people will be picking you in that.
So they'll be able to get it.
They will even pick you. They will see people in the community. They will pick you. The agencies, non-governmental organizations, because they were part of those that train you. They will search for it and said, okay, you can do this, you can do coding. We are looking for so person. It's just we are looking for so person that can do this particular job. We are looking for so person that can build a website. We are looking for so person that can do mechanic. To that extent, we are looking for so person that can be a fashion designer and all that. So it's there. They will pick you.
All right. Now let me ask you quickly. A lot of Nigerian youths who are frustrated, and the example of the young core member comes to mind. But the first and foremost thing we heard that the DG of NYC is promising that they are going to start payment. When is this payment? It's supposed to have started being paid since end of January or February. But what is delaying the new payment structure?
You know, and I've explained this several times. Some people said, I always said it is a process. It is a process. And it's seriously a process. It's a government line that there's no how you can do a corner piece to do it. It was not in the budget when the president announced it. And some agency parastatals, you will need your salary to be in the budget before it is being done or it is being paid. Before anybody can approve anything, you must have a budgetary allocation for it. So the budgetary allocation has been done now. We have done with the process, and it has been approved. It has been signed. And now they can start taking it, paying it. So
we are approaching another payment of allowance for the core members. Are you assuring Nigerian core members who are watching tonight?
You saw the DG, the new DG, saying that you will get it. And they asked me a question, what of those that are going out now? Are they going to receive it? Is it backlog? The backlogs of those that said, he said, we have your this thing. We will push. And I can tell you, in as much I'm the minister of youth, some people you may not like my face. You may not like to hear this. You may not this thing. But I'm doing the work is what I...
So I want to get the assurance as a minister, because this is also, the buck stops on your desk. Will that payment happen at the end of this month?
It will happen.
That's a promise.
Yeah, it will happen.
And those backlogs...
It has been signed. The backlog will work on it, paid. And we'll work on it, and we'll make sure that since...
It will not be immediate.
It will not be immediate.
But it will happen.
It will happen, but it will not be immediate. Myself and the DG, we've had a discussion on this. We've moved to the quarters that we need to move to. We've had a long of this thing of it. We put up our documents and everything. I've been on this for a very long time, and I'm doing it, and it's going to work out.
Now, let me ask you, why is the young lady, the core member, who called out the president on social media being threatened?
Nobody threatened her. Actually, for me.
Did you see the communication?
For me.
About her going to face some disciplinary process?
For me, let me tell you this. I also don't want to discuss this. And that's the truth. And the reason why I don't want to discuss is that I would prefer we discuss confabs and all those things like that, because every young people, everybody, not even only young people, have freedom of speech. And I'm a product of freedom of speech.
So until they criticize the president.
No, you don't criticize.
Because the girl seems to be in trouble.
A lot of criticism have come to the president. This is not the first one.
So why is the girl's case different?
Have anybody called her? Have you had any panel for her now?
But there was a communication, except if you have intervened. Have you intervened on that matter?
We've done. See, let me say this. Let me say this again and again. And I'm live now. Let me say this. When you are in any institution, even here where we are, before they give you a job here, they have their hearts. They have what they sign. They have everything. And like we said, NYC is in all local government. Probably the local government coordinator or whatever that knows our face saw her and saw the post. And this is my core member. Let me put a call. That doesn't mean that it's coming from probably a
as a youth minister,
or this thing or that.
Is your principal aware that there's a lot of Nigerian people who are frustrated?
A lot. Even, see, not principal.
No, because the president is your principal. He appointed you as a minister.
Not even principal matter now. Everybody knows, and I've said this outside here, that no country that will get himself involved in a well, and you go to that well, it has been dry, and you want to fetch water from that dry well, that is not going to get up to this level. No country, nobody, even human being. You can't fetch water from the dry well. The president picked this country from a dry well. And we're trying to, let's see everything possible. And when the president said student loan scheme, a lot of people ask me, how is student loan scheme and this? A president or a government that wants to give a student loan knows that it's going to provide a job for those students so that they can get the loan paid. And that is where we are going to.
So the question I'm asking you, and the reason I'm asking you,
and the only way we can get there,
the reality of our time is that Nigerian youth are frustrated. They are agitated. Are you aware of the rant challenge that is going on, where Nigerian youth are frustrated
but I told you,
and speaking up their mind?
I told you that I'm a product of that. That everybody, if you are not comfortable with something, if you know that something is happening to you, you come out and talk. You come out and speak.
Why does it feel like that some Nigerians feel that this government is gagging or is very, very opposed to voice of dissent?
No. Let me tell you, I've said it to the young people, and I've said this clearly. Let us always make research. Put it up your door, pick up your laptop. You have access to gadgets. Make research. Is what have happened in so time? What have happened to where we are now? What are we doing now? Make research. Is more than following trend. Let us make research about what is happening, where we are going through, what have happened. Where do we get it from?
It seems the NIA website is down, is not opening.
Maybe because of the traffic, it will come up.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, on a final note, I would have loved us to talk about confab because there are a lot of people who said that do we need a confab to be able to know the problem of Nigerian youth?
But majority of people come to Abuja, and that is what I want to talk about, the confab. They bring us then. I was part of it too. They will bring you to Abuja and say, let's talk about what is happening. Do I know everything that is happening over there?
The question
is that we are taking it down to the grassroots.
They see you and your brother, Sheyi Tinubu, the president's son, going to share food in the north, and there are those who feel offended. Why would you come to share cooked rice in the north?
Everybody will not be. It's not compulsory everybody is happy with what you do. It's just for you to be focused and think you do the right thing and do the right thing for the people. It has the people at heart. Not that we are sharing food for people. We are not sharing food for people. It's an iftar, and we are breaking fast with the young people, irregardless of any political party you have. So it's not that you just go and share food. How would you just go and share food? Does that look as an empowerment? No. Does that look like no? It's just breaking of iftar.
All right.
So I don't think there's any offense in breaking iftar with young people all over the country.
Honorable Ayodele Olawande, Honorable Minister for Youth Development. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimale. God bless Nigeria.